Hey guys, so for today's movie review, I'm going to talk about the film Trainspotting. It's by director Danny Boyle, who's done, Shallow Grave and Slumdog Millionaire, 127 Hours, the first 28 Days Later. He's done a lot of stuff. So Trainspotting is kind of his drug depiction piece. Um, it's kind of, I kind of viewed this film as his version of Requiem for a Dream in a way. You know, how Darren Aronofsky did a drug depiction piece also. So throughout this film, it's a very simplistic premise. Basically, Ewan McGregor, he's involved with a group of friends that always make and distribute and use heroin. And it's kind of just about his life as this heroin addict and kind of how it destroys his life over a while. That he basically sells everything he owns just to get some heroin, made and used. So after a while, throughout the film, he's trying to get out of it. Well, forcefully out of it, I should say. Um, and he has this girl that's I think she was still in high school that he slept with, and she wants to stay with him. She's played by Kelly Macdonald. There was this whole thing with a baby going on. One of them had a kid, and with him being a heroin addict, he wasn't really being a responsible father. So it's just kind of a film about a depiction of what heroin addicts and what heroin itself can really do to you after a while. So it is kind of a bit freaky in a sense because of all that. Um, but for the positives and negatives, you guys, I do think the film does successfully have like a unique and bizarre film tone. Um, just a kind of a very offbeat, intentional movie. So I guess in that sense, the film was interesting in that way. The film does have a really good musical score. It definitely keeps your attention, I guess, throughout the movie. So musical score wise, I was pretty impressed with this also. Um, the film also has some interesting like film approaches on things, like a baby crawling on a ceiling. So basically, whenever Ewan McGregor or someone else is tripping out and seeing these really weird hallucinations, the film does a really good job kind of depicting all these really weird things that are going on in the room for the person when they're kind of really needing this shot of heroin in order to kind of um, not have all these really bad hallucinations. At least that's what they think they need in order to stop the hallucinations. So a lot of unique film approaches, like I said, with babies on the ceiling and friends showing up on the bed sheet randomly and stuff like that. Um, so for the negatives, since I do have quite a few of them, I don't think the film is disturbing or stylish enough. I couldn't quite tell what Danny Boyle wanted to make here. If he wanted to disturb me, it didn't feel as disturbing as Requiem for a Dream. If he wanted to impress me with style and substance, there wasn't enough of it here for me to really judge it off that. I mean, my premise alone that when I at the beginning of the video was very, very short. Yeah, it's just not stylish or disturbing enough. Because with a drug depiction piece, you can kind of make it stylish in a unique way, or you can make it really disturbing. Like hey, this is what really this the kind of stuff that goes on. Though it does that at points throughout the movie, it just never quite gets to Requiem for a Dream level, which really really bothers you after a while. Um, in a way that probably Darren Aronofsky wanted you to feel with that movie. But with this one, like I said, there was just so many scenes where it wasn't trying to be disturbing, it was just kind of stylish. I just couldn't quite tell what film Danny Boyle really wanted me to feel as I was watching this. I can't connect with these characters. That was another problem. He doesn't really. Danny Boyle doesn't create any characters that us as the audience can connect with unless we were heroin addicts. Well, I'm not a heroin addict, so I think he could have done a better job with saying, you can connect with this character because he's a family member. You can connect with this character because he wants to be with his girlfriend, and he wants to get off of this so he can live this normal life with her. And stuff like that occasionally happens, but it's just not quite done enough. This character needs to stop heroin so he can do this, or this character. I mean, there's never quite that establishment with these characters. It's, oh well, they do heroin, and it kind of sucks that they're addicted to it and they can't get off of it. But hey, they're heroin addicts, and that's what they got to do. It just kind of felt like that after a while. Um, Little to no premise in this. Like I said, it's basically just this guy's heroin addict lifestyle, trying to get out of it at one point. Um, that's basically the premise. I really would have liked to see more of a premise here. Requiem for a Dream, I think, is better in every way possible when it comes to these kind of movies because that movie bothered me. It really shows just how awful drugs can be to you. And it wasn't just for heroin, it was for other forms of drugs also in that movie. Trainspotting was strictly heroin. Um, it's like I said, it just doesn't. I don't think it's disturbing enough, like I said, and it's not stylish enough either. Um, it just, like I said, Requiem for a Dream is better in every way possible for him when it comes to drug depiction pieces. This film's very hard to sit through. I had to take several breaks while watching this. It's just not a very entertaining movie, I gotta say. It's not entertaining enough. Like I said, it's not disturbing enough. It's not stylish enough. So after a while, it's just like, oh, I gotta get through this. I gotta get through this. And it's only 94 minutes, and for a 94-minute movie to feel like it took forever to get through, that's kind of sad. Um, Kelly Macdonald is very underused in this, and I think she's one of the better parts of the movie, to be honest. I know this is probably one of her first roles. I think this is introducing Kelly Macdonald during the end credits. Really underused in this. I think that her character could have been a great opportunity to make Ewan McGregor really get off the heroin. I think the film could have been about him trying to get off of the heroin so he could be with her and have a real relationship. And even though I think she was underage when they were having sex in this, not much of a spoiler because you can find it basically everywhere online when you see pics of this movie. Um, I think this film could have seriously been about these guys trying to get out of heroin so they can pursue these real relationships and not just have all these one night stands all the time. And like I said, I think that's where Kelly Macdonald really feels underused in this because we only see her for like 2 or 3 scenes in this. When one of them was, of course, the one night stand she had with Ewan McGregor. Um, I think the film does have some very over exaggerated moments. The scene that really bothered me in this, just because it's just it's pushed way too far. I know what Danny Boyle was trying to do, but it's just very gross and very not very tastefully made, I should say. And that was the scene where Ewan McGregor, and like I said, these aren't really spoilers. Like I said, there really isn't. The ending scene's a spoiler, but I'm not going to get into that. But like I said, it's basically just this guy's heroin lifestyle. But like I said, the over exaggerated moment that really bothered me here was Danny Boyle trying to get something out of a toilet, and you see him like dive into it to go after it, and when he dives into it, it's almost like ocean water, and it was like, hmm? And it's just like, how could he fit in that little small hole? And it's just like he had to stick his hand in that diarrhea, and it's just like, ugh. And yeah, it's just not a good moment. And like I said, I think that just goes so far as to say is the film over exaggerates itself with somehow people being able to fit into a toilet and stuff like that. Um, so Trainspotting, guys, I give it a 4 out of 10. I really didn't like this movie that much. Like I said, besides a unique style of filmmaking, a great musical score, and some interesting approaches that are made throughout the movie, really not a lot to see here. I think Slumdog Millionaire and 127 Hours are probably one of the better Danny Boyle films I've seen. And either both of those two were not, whoa, absolutely amazing. Um, so, like I said, Train Spotting, 4 out of 10 for me. Not a great movie. If you really want to see a good drug depiction piece that really gets at you, that really disturbs you after a while, make sure to check out Requiem for a Dream instead.